I should hang out.
I don't hang out.
Next Thursday.
You could.
Mixing business.
There's no reason for surgery.
Gray's right. I disagree.
With pleasure.
You didn't side with me because of you and I.
Could have deadly consequences.
I need some help in here.
And welcome back to another episode of Grey's Anatomy Diagnosis. My name is Shannon, and this week on Grey's Anatomy Diagnosis, I will be diagnosing Season 13, Episode 4. Now, in this episode, we open up with Alex in the clinic. For those of you who are not up to date with Grey's Anatomy, we know that Alex is in the clinic because he beat the crap out of Andrew DeLuca for the assumption that he was attacking his girlfriend, Jo. Now, for those of you who are up to date with the season, we know that this isn't true, and Alex now has a felony charged against him, which is why he is relieved of all of his surgical duties. That being said, that does not stop Alex from doing his job. A young teenager comes in with the assumption that she is an alcoholic. Alex thinks she's an alcoholic. Even Dr. Weber, who was the previous chief of surgery, thinks she is an alcoholic. But that being said, that doesn't stop Alex from trying to find the real diagnosis to her problem. Because when she got out of the bed, she, for whatever reason, pops her shoulder out of place and then pops it back. She also only mentions that she had one beer. Now, for those of you who like alcohol, JK, we know that one beer can't get you drunk. So Alex knew that this was a situation and that he needed to dig a little deeper, and he did. He actually diagnosed her with a rare disease, which actually makes alcohol cause joint dysfunction, basically. And he diagnosed that to her. But the thing is, because he's relieved of his surgical duties, he's not allowed to diagnose anybody. So he tells Richard Weber, and Richard Weber tells the nurse over the clinic, and everyone's all, ooh, Richard Weber diagnosed this girl with a rare disease, when it was actually Alex. So he's proud of himself, but like Shonda Rhimes always does, with the good, there's the bad. And for Alex to have the time to diagnose this young lady, he actually missed his meeting with his lawyer. Now, the moment I saw that, I automatically thought, oh no, like he missed his meeting. This is gonna be terrible. Now he doesn't know what to do when the trial comes. But at the same time, he missed his meeting to help another person. That is his moral obligation. Now, for those Grey's Anatomy fans out there, we remember that in the Calliope Torres Arizona Robbins trial, Arizona, who's the head of pediatric surgery, actually left in the middle of her trial to go and help a child who was dying. That being said, the judge actually saw that as a good thing and allowed her to go, and inevitably she won the custody of her daughter. So that being said, I'm wondering if Shonda Rhimes is repeating herself with Alex. Even though he missed his meeting to diagnose a young lady with a rare disease, I don't think it's going to be a problem in the future. So that being said, we're going to switch gears and hop over to Amelia and Owen. Now, they come and go in the season so far only when it pertains to them. Now, this episode, Amelia basically starts asking Owen all these questions and realizes she doesn't know anything about the husband that she's only been married to for a month and engaged to for a week. Yeah. Very quick time span. So that being said, she goes around the hospital and she actually finds that she knows more about anybody other than her husband. But in the end of the episode, they're both laying in bed and they both confide in each other in a very personal way. Owen tells Amelia that he actually choked Christina, which does happen. We see that for those Grey's Anatomy fans out there. We see that he does choke her due to his PTSD. Also, Amelia confides in Owen and tells him that at one point in time she was doing drugs with her previous boyfriend. He OD'd and she woke up next to him dead in her bed. Roles flip very quickly and all of a sudden they start talking about kids, and now their goal is to have children. Now, Meredith, Maggie, and Riggs have been in this love triangle since pretty much the beginning of season 13. Maggie did ask Riggs out and Riggs said no. Why? Because he's in love with Meredith, and Meredith actually encouraged him to deny Maggie, but in a polite way. So at this point we realize that Riggs is like, hey, we got it out. I denied her, we're good, everything's great. We can now together. But of course, Meredith is like, no, this isn't, I don't know, this isn't gonna work, I'm not sure. But another thing that we see that actually happened in season 1 is that at one point in time during this episode, we see that Meredith and Riggs side together against Owen. Now, that being said, we also see that Meredith reverts back to her old ways. In season 1, we saw that Meredith was, talking to Dr. Derek Shepard, head of neurosurgery, and for whatever reason, Derek decided to throw her a few surgeries, and she automatically thought that it wasn't because of her ingenious to the medical field, but rather because of their intimacy. So she reverted back to her old ways and actually talked to Riggs and asked, are you siding with me because of the medicine, or are you siding with me because of the intimacy? At that point, it really ticks Riggs off because he's like, I'm not that kind of guy. That being said, we see some similarities in Riggs and Dr. McDreamy, but at the same time, us Grey's Anatomy fans, we know that there isn't ever a comparison. McDreamy will forever be McDreamy, but at the same time, we know that Riggs is a good guy. So thanks for tuning in with me. I hope that I have caught you up to date with season 13, episode 4. Again, my name is Shannon, and this has been another episode of Grey's Anatomy Diagnosis. Stay with me, and next week I will diagnose Grey's Anatomy, season 13, episode 5. See you next time. Bye.